What if the real key to a richer life has nothing to do with just making more money? Well, today we are digging into 4 powerful lessons from multimillionaire Eamon Gaji that might just completely flip how you think about success for the year ahead.
All right, so here's the game plan. We're going to start with the raw grit it takes just to survive. Then we'll get into building an unbeatable brand, why focusing is your secret weapon. And finally, we're going to blow up the whole definition of what it means to be wealthy.
Okay, first up. This lesson sounds so simple, but man, it is the hardest one to actually live by. It's all about how to just hang on when everything inside you wants to give up.
You know those years Ghazi's talking about, right? Where everything just works. You feel like you can't lose. Like you're, in his words, favored by God. Every move you make is the right one. It's the absolute peak.
But then there are the other years. The ones where you're not exactly failing, you're just empty. Where getting through the day feels like you're trying not to drown, just trying to keep your head above water. It's an emotional and spiritual grind.
And that's really the heart of his first lesson. Look, it's not about winning every single day. It's about not quitting on the bad days. Those tough years, they don't last forever. But if you quit, that's it, game over. So the number one goal is just stay in the game.
So if just surviving is step one, what comes next? You build a fortress, something that protects you from all those wild swings. And that fortress is your personal brand.
This is such a huge concept. Think about it. When people trust you, the specific product you're selling almost becomes irrelevant. That trust, that's the real product. And it basically makes you bulletproof in the market.
But here's the big twist in his strategy. He's not telling you to go out and become some massive influencer with millions of followers, no. He makes the case for building what he calls a micro-niche brand. We're talking a small, super dedicated audience that you can actually serve. It's about the depth of the connection, not the width of your reach.
All right, let's talk about a lesson that really cuts against the grain, especially with today's hustle culture that tells you to do everything all at once. This is all about the trap of splitting your focus.
So this is the question he gets all the time from other high-level entrepreneurs. They see all his different companies and they just assume he's got some secret productivity system, some magic hack that lets him juggle it all perfectly.
And his answer is just brutally honest. He says trying to run multiple businesses at once, at least in the short term, is just not smart. He's completely open about the fact that all his businesses could be doing better if his attention wasn't so divided.
Now, he has his long-term reasons for doing what he does, but his advice, or pretty much everyone else, is crystal clear. Pick one thing, commit to it. That's where you find real, powerful momentum.
And that brings us to the final, and I think most profound lesson. This one redefines the whole point of the journey. It's about what being truly wealthy actually looks and feels like.
So to really drive this point home, Gaji tells this story about a friend of his. This guy has a net worth of $4 billion, and he's taking home something like $200 million a year just in dividends. It's a staggering amount of money. Now just look at this comparison. On one side, you have the $4 billion man. On the other, his business partner, a multimillionaire. The first guy has way more money, but the second guy has a family, a life he enjoys, and he genuinely loves his work. It really makes you stop and ask, who's the richer one here?
And there it is. That's the core philosophy. The end goal isn't just piling up the biggest number you can in your bank account. The goal is to build the richest life you can, one that's packed with great relationships, hobbies, joy, meaning.
You can actually see how he got there on this slide. He says in the beginning he was totally obsessed, just working and reading nonstop. But then he started to let go. He picked up hobbies. And the craziest thing happened. The more life he had outside of work, the better his businesses did. A richer life actually fueled his success, not the other way around.
And you can really see how all these lessons just stack on top of each other, right? You start with the pure grit just to survive. Then you build a brand to protect yourself, you learn to focus your energy, but it's all leading to this one place, the ultimate goal of building a life that's not just profitable, but meaningful. So as we wrap this up, I want you to ask yourself, which one of these lessons really challenges you? Is it the need to just hang in there? The idea of building your personal brand? The warning against splitting your focus? Or is it maybe time to completely rethink what wealth even means to you? The answer to that could change everything.